Hi, I'm going to be showing us how we can set up store exchange transfer between stores. So most importantly, like supermarkets. Now, you might have different stores and you want to exchange uh, update or information between these stores. And what are those information? Why are we uh, transferring information between these stores? In order to update, now if you have more than 2 or 3, 4, 5 stores, one store will act as the headquarter, the other stores will act as a remote store. Okay, so the headquarter store would handle the major price update. Whenever there's a price update, whenever there's a purchase, it's been entered through the headquarter store. Now you are hearing headquarter remote. It can be in one location, in one building with different stores, or it can be on separate buildings. There are ways you can exchange this information. So the headquarter that you're entering this information to for the purchase with the new price is already updated, but the remote stores are not updated with this current price. So you have to set them up. So as we tag along, we'll understand better. Now the first thing you do, you go to store and hit store exchange center. Over here, this status bar will show us the last exchange that occurred and what date. So far, no exchange has occurred. You can decide to set up your store here, or you go to preferences. Now when you go to preferences, we are in store code classes. Now here, how many stores do you have? So I'm going to select 3. So once you select 3, you see here we are having additional 3. Now you can decide to use the code headquarter as the first one. The first one is usually the headquarter. Now if you want to use this particular QuickBooks POS as the headquarter store, you need to make sure during the process of installation you select headquarter as the store type. Otherwise it won't function as the headquarter. It will only function as a remote store. 2. So this should be store 1. Store 1 and store 2. Okay. Now we are done with this setup. Here you only enter the number of stores you have. Store exchange. How do you want to exchange between these stores? What are the communication method? We have 5 of them, probably 6 or 5. Yes. If you want to use removable media, it means you want to have maybe an external hard drive or hard disk or a flash where you would save or where you will store this update you want to share between these stores. So that is number 1 option, which is removable media. So if you want to configure now, you would ask to enter the license number for the store 1. Now remember, store 1 is another computer, right? You've already created another, you've installed this same QuickBooks POS on another computer, and those computers are serving as a remote store. Now each of those QuickBooks POS have their license number, so you input the license number for that store 1, which is here showing as store 2 because of the codification. So the store 1 from this perspective is our headquarter, but I'm using store 1 to refer to as the store 2 as store 3. I can use this code, or if I can decide to use store 2 and store 3 so that we know that store 1 is headquarter. Then here you are going to locate the removable where you insert the removable hard disk. Okay, from this you can locate, but now we don't have any removable hard disks added to this. Once you are done, you click on OK, it will set up. Another option is web-based email. As you try to configure this, it would still refer you to this same place where you are going to now, where that information will be sent. Then it will be sent through email. Then if you want to go to desktop email client, here you input the email address where you want to send this information to, then you retrieve it from the other end. Most likely you're not going to use these options. You are going to be using network file transfer by when you use LAN. So if you have LAN, you might have already mapped the drive on this computer when you use local area network. So that is the best form that you can use. It's the best. Now you can also select that here, network file transfer. So once you configure it both, under here, in order for you not to miss any day, any update per day, it's preferable you leave it that it should remind you or alert you when you've not sent or received updates in a day. And why are we doing this? Store 2 might have new customers which store 1, which is the headquarter, does not have. Store 1 might have new price which the store 2 does not have. So imagine you bought an item from before for 5,000 naira. It's already registered in store 2 and store 1 as 5,000 naira. Now store 1 again, which is the headquarter, is receiving another item. I'm using this store 2 here and store 3. So store 1 here is referred to as my headquarter. I can also edit this to store 2 and store 3. Now the headquarter has the new price. Okay, let me just quickly go and exchange. Let me just clean that to store 2 to avoid the confusion. Okay, it's just going to start with store 1 actually. Store 3, then store 2, then this is the headquarter. So I'm just going to go ahead and save so that we have uniform. So I'm still going to go on preference, and then this store exchange. So we have it as store 2, yes. So the headquarter, which is store 1, might have new price which the store 2 does not have, and store 3 and other stores. So we need to update this information. Now the store heading, if you want to name them, you can see how they are. Okay, once you save, to take us to this angle. Now remember, we've not configured, that's why it's showing not applicable. So the next thing you do, you set the password. This password is important so that when you are trying to update the other stores, they will require this information. So in order to update, both the headquarter and the stores need to have the same password and the same password. Otherwise, the update will not occur. You can also schedule that it should automatically exchange data every day, maybe at a particular time. It is also important so that you don't miss out on the updates. Then you can also view log to see the numbers of transfers that had occurred. Okay, so this is how you configure store exchange. Going through store 1 to receive, the store 2 would have already sent the information to you through that platform, through LAN. Then you come here and then receive. So this is how you configure store exchange in QuickBooks POS. This is where it will take you to. So you're showing that there is no file waiting to be processed. Select close to exit. Otherwise, if it's not showing that file, you can still browse to see if you have a location or a map where those updates are supposed to be located. You go through there. So at the beginning, you have a file waiting. This is where you're going to click on to process in, and it will come into the update wood. The items will be, the information will be updated.